Hey guys, it's M4J here, and welcome back to my Stevenage FC career here on Football Manager 2018. Today's the day. Today is the day we can win the league, providing I've done my maths correctly. So if you look at the league table at the bottom centre there, Crew are second on 78 points. We are 23 points ahead of them on 101. And there's 8 games to play for, which means there's 24 points to play for. So if we win today, that puts us, well, let's say we win today and Crew win today, that still puts us 23 points ahead with only 21 points to play for. So we win the league. Yes. Godden is our top scorer with 45 goals. I'm hoping to see some more from him. He's also one Man of the Match award away from setting a new league record of 8, which is pretty impressive. He's already broken the number of league goals in total scored for Stevenage. He's beaten Morrison's 69. I think Godden's on 74 now. I might be wrong there. I think that's right though. We'll have to find out in a second. We are ravaged with injuries and suspensions and things like that. So we're going to have to play a very cautious game here today against Portsmouth. I'm feeling fairly confident. If we just go in and play our game, we should come out of this okay. I'm actually going to give Whittingham his debut. We'll put... this is a new guy I signed. Where is he? There. Kevin Boro, who is from Mauritius. Very nice. Very nice part of the world. Formerly of Ipswich. I've never heard of him. And yet apparently he's played for Ipswich for a while. That's quite rare that I wouldn't know who he is. Yeah, that's really unusual. Normally I'm the one who knows all about all these sort of dark horse players. I've also just noticed that Beautyman is back from injury. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that, and then Franks I'm going to put back on the bench instead of Whitbread. Anyone else that's new? I think that's it, actually. Let's say this is a big game, so we could do with a win. So I've kind of gone with the full-strength team, minus Houghton, who would, I mean, he makes the midfield pretty strong when he plays. Samuel is still carrying an injury. He fractured a cheekbone a couple of weeks ago. So he's getting that healed up. He's wearing protective equipment. Tyrone Mears is leaving. That's something else I needed to mention. He's joining the New York Cosmos. Remember that Eric Cantona advert that came out many years ago, where it sort of just zooms in on his face and he goes, "We're back," and then it comes up New York Cosmos. They disappeared for a couple of years after that. I mean, they were still around. They just weren't making headlines. Even now, I don't think they're in the MLS, or aren't even like planning to be accepted into the MLS. So that advert looks a bit stupid now, really. But there you go. Have I got a spare? Yeah, I have got a spare slot. So I'm going to put Norris on the bench instead of Makalambe. I've already started the process of deciding who's going to stay next season and who's going to leave. Players like De Silva, I would very much like to keep. Also, Gillespie, James, Colley, who's on international duty, which is why he's unavailable. Ogilvy maybe, Mason definitely not. Nicotia maybe as well. It's a bit hard with him because he's not exactly played badly, but he's just not had a sniff because Godden's been playing so well. So there you go. Right, I think I've talked enough at the start of this episode. So we're going to go give some squad numbers. First of all to Norris. He's going to take number, let's say 30, and Whittingham can have 26. That should do fine. I'm looking for big things from Whittingham because he'll be a really nice experienced player to have next season. He might not be the best player in the squad, but the experience will tell. And as you saw, Jack King's still out injured. King has signed up for next season already, so I'm pleased about that. And I'm assuming he'll still be captain next season. I see no reason why he wouldn't be. So as much as I like bringing in youth, I do like to try and keep the experienced players around as well. I think that's actually been the downfall for Stevenage in real life this season. More real life news actually. A quick update. Darren Saul was sacked. I said that in the last episode. his successor has already been appointed. It was actually a very quick process. Saul was sacked on the Sunday, and the new manager was appointed as of this morning. I'm recording this on Tuesday, the 20th of March. Tuesday 20th. Just checking it out and ticked past midnight. Dino Maamria. I think I mentioned him in the last episode actually and said he was a candidate. He has been appointed, and to be honest, I always want to see a manager keep their job. So I'm still upset that Saul's gone, and I'd have liked to have kept him at the club in some capacity, but I can see why that's not necessarily possible when you're removing someone as manager. But of all the candidates that were shortlisted, I think Maamria would have been my first choice, because he is very passionate, should we say, about football. When he was a player, that resulted in quite a few red cards, as Matt Godden puts us 1-0 up. I should really focus on the match, but I want to finish talking about this very quickly. Dino's had 3 spells at the club, once as a player, once as a coach, and once as an assistant manager. So he knows the club inside out at every level. I think he's a very, very strong candidate for the job. It is his first managerial job in the Football League. However, he has managed, I think it's 3 different clubs outside of the Football League, and he's done quite well at all 3 of them. Nuneaton, which is where he's joined us from, he did a very, very good job there with 2 Steamish players out on loan, Ryan Johnson and James Ferry. So I think the right decision was made in terms of the appointment. I think the wrong decision was made in terms of the sacking. One is a causation of the other. So I've always made my opinions pretty clear on I don't like managers getting sacked. I've also made my opinions pretty clear on I don't like clubs poaching managers from other clubs, and that's exactly what Steamage have done as well. So I feel a bit sorry for Nuneaton, and I think maybe we should have just hired a caretaker manager to the end of the season and then got Maamria in then. But I do also understand the logic of get the manager in now with 9 games to go, so he gets a good look at the squad, decides who he wants to keep, who he wants to move on, and then do our business early in the transfer window at the end of this season, ready for next season. I get it. It makes sense, as we concede an equaliser from Danny Rowe. I was about to say we've had a really good strong start to this game, and I feel like the title is within our grasp. I think a draw, we have to better Crew's result. That's what we have to do. So if Crew are losing, which they're not, then a draw would be fine. But because it looks like Crew are winning, then we have to take the lead again. Although we could go behind here. Oof, close. Brewster just wide. Is that Rhian Brewster? Do you know what? If that's, I'm very tempted to see if I can get one loan next season, Brewster. I'm already looking, I'd say, to see who I can bring in next season. I'm looking for a new centre back, because I think that's been one of our shortfalls this season. Luckily, it hasn't cost us, because we've had such a good start to the season. We'd already pulled away significantly before the injuries started happening. But definitely a new centre back, a new centre forward, because I have felt at times this season, as good as Nicotia is, and he has come up trumps when needed quite a lot this season, but I do think there has been other times where we could have really used, again, an experienced player, should we say, just holding the ball up front. A good target man would be a good signing for us. I am looking into Steve Morrison and see if maybe he'd want to join us back in League One. The problem with that is Millwall are playing him and he's doing quite well for them. So if they're not wanting to sell, then they're not wanting to sell. Simple as. They're the 2 key positions. Maybe another goalkeeper, although if I can get Norris on loan for another season, then we will have 2 strong keepers in Fryer and Norris, and we could keep Makalambe as a 3rd choice, although I would quite like to get him off the wage budget. A new right back as well is also quite important, because at the moment our only good right back is Reece James. As I said at the start of the episode, Tyrone Mears is leaving at the end of the season. Franks is our only other right back choice, and he's alright at right back, but he's only 2.5 star now. In League One, that'll probably drop down to 1.5 star. So always got to bear that in mind when you get promoted. Some players get better, some players get worse. Right, Portsmouth are down to 10. Nathan Smith, who is actually, first of all, he's one of the players that I was told to watch out for in the build-up to this game. Second of all, he's actually one of the players I was looking at signing if we went up and we are at Portsmouth. Well, they are in the playoff places. So if we go up and Portsmouth don't, then I can poach some of their best players. Thompson is the one that the former fan favourite warning came in about. In this case, it was Graham Wesley, who, to be honest, I don't really want to listen to. But when the game tells you to watch out for a player, then you really do have to keep half an eye on them, either as a scout or as a manager. Either way. Alright, that was a nothing ball from their keeper there. Joe Martin brings that down relatively easily. Finds Barnby. He tries to play it to Godden in the channel. Hancock's running onto that. There we go. Nice defensive mistake. That's what I like to call the Mitra Kuka goal. In other words, it wasn't an enforced error. You know, they made that mistake themselves, but we were quite happy to capitalise on it. It wasn't a particularly good pass here from Barnby, and it was on his stronger foot as well, so no excuses really. Godden put no pressure on their defender at all. That's a really poor back pass, and Hancock, who has had an incredible season. I think, for me personally, Godden's going to win Player of the Season. Obviously, he scored all the goals, but for me, Hancock has to come second. You know, forget about the clean sheets, forget about the assists from Samuel and Barnby. Hancock has played so well. He's 17 years old. In fact, he might even be 18 now. Is he 18? Nope, he's still 17 years old. And he scored, I think that's his 12th goal of the season. It said it at the top, I just didn't read it. It's something. He scored over 10 goals anyway this season. I'm sure of that. Which is incredible. Absolutely incredible. He's got to win Young Player of the Season. He might even be up for Young Player of the Season in the league. But he's definitely going to win it at the club. And he's one of our own. Oof, that's a bad goal to concede. Is he a target man? He might be. I've got to keep a very close eye out on this for target men. Headers 1, I think, is something I've got to look at. But yeah, I always love it. One of my favourite things in my Hatfield saves is when I get to sort of championship level and I start producing quality players who play in the first team. I really wish I could remember his name. I had a guy called Dale Irving who came through. This is my Hatfield team 3 years ago in real life. I think it was 3 years ago. It was the first year I started playing with the extended database. And he was a right winger. The only problem for him was I already had a really good right winger in my squad. And I already had a really good backup right winger as well. So I knew that he wasn't going to play at right wing in my team. But I noticed he had a good tackling attribute. So I retrained him as a right back. And originally it was because I was actually on a shortage of right backs at the time and I was between transfer windows. So I couldn't sign one. So the idea was to train one up. Because all the other right backs in my academy were sort of 1 star. Whereas Irving was a 2.5 star to 3 star right winger. And he ended up being a 4 star right back in the Premier League for my Hatfield team. Which I think was really, really cool. And he actually came through in a crop of players that also included a playmaking attacking midfielder who spent quite a long time at the club, and also a striker who I really wish I could remember his name. It was Joe something. I might have to load up the old save and have another look. But he played up front for 6 seasons for me and scored something like 50 goals. So, I mean, his goal return wasn't brilliant, but he played up front as part of a 2. And whoever he played against always was scoring like 30 goals a season in whatever level we were at. And this guy was getting, you know, sort of 8 goals a season himself, which isn't a great return, but his assists was quite high. But that was the 3. I had the mighty trio of players who all came through my academy in the same year and all stayed in the team for a number of seasons. Irving was the standout player because he was the one that I retrained him, so he wasn't even playing in his natural position, and he was still one of the best in the league at right back. It's a really, really good feeling. So I always look out for that now. Whenever the youth intake comes around, I always look to see who's recommended. Unfortunately for Stevenage, on this particular season, the youth intake has come and gone, and I think disappointing is the word that I would use. I think 2 star was the highest rated. So not the greatest return. Oh, Godden, good chance. Not the greatest return, but also not the worst. We are at a stage now where the club's academy is pretty good because it reflects real life. But the youth intake, I think, is a bit lower because of the way the game works. But we'll work on that. We'll work on that. Right, Thompson with the ball forward. I'm actually going to talk about the match now. Ah, penalty. Alright, we might be playing 2 games this episode after all. I sort of eked out the intro because I thought we'd only be playing 1 game. But that might not be the case now. I think the next game's in like 2 or 3 days' time anyway. Yes, Fryer! Maybe we are playing 1 game after all. Right. Encourage. Come on, boys. Charge forward. Make them pay. We're going to go clear border flanks. Go route 1. Take more risks. Do it all. Do it now. We've got 15 minutes to win this game. Don't score. Don't score. Oof, Fryer again. Kept us in this game. I really wish he was as good in real life as he is on this game. I think he was a bit unlucky. Oh, that's unlucky as well. There you go, Thompson, guy I was told to look out for. Might put a scout on him between now and the end of the season. Had to be... I mean, we've had a couple of dud results. Sort of towards the close of the season. We've let in a lot of goals. And by the way, I consider dud results where we concede sort of 2 goals. Even if we win the game, it's a dud result for me because it's all about keeping clean sheets at this point in the season. If you stop the opposition from scoring, even if you only manage to sneak 1 goal, you'll always win. Come on. Don't want to lose this. Pause. Hancock, you're going up front alongside Godden. And you're going to play as a target man. And you're going to go absolute. Do that, do that, do that, do that. Play. We're probably out of time now. How much time added? 3 minutes. That's pretty much it, isn't it? Crew lost by the looks of things, though. So we could still win the league, actually. It's always a bit anticlimactic when you win the league having lost the match, but I think we've done it. Yeah, we did. Awesome. So Crew lost, which means that we were still 23 points ahead with 21 to play for. So they can't catch us. So it's a bit disappointing that we lost the game, but we've won the league. Well, there you go. Who won man of the match? For us, it was Josh Hancock. But I think man of the match is given to one of their players because I think it tends to be good form to give man of the match to the winning team. So I'm guessing this guy won it. I think I've signed this guy before. I'll have to look at that. I'm sure I've signed him before. Oh no, Hancock won man of the match. I suppose there's ones for individual teams. I don't know. I don't know how it works. We had a capacity of... that's the capacity. I was about to say we had an attendance of 6,700. We didn't. We had 5,000, no? That's pretty damn good. Winning the league. Gets people in. I think our average attendance was 2,000 last season. Now it's 5,000. Pretty nice. Alright, so that's us winning the league. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I was going to show the game where we got promoted, but I did the calculations wrong and thought it was a game after the one when it actually happened. So I couldn't show you that one, unfortunately. So I didn't get to show you the budget or anything like that either. So I'll show you that really quickly. I'm going to praise Hancock because he was superb. So the budget, we were given an extra, I think it was 10,000 a week to spend. And I'm guessing because Mears is leaving. I don't know where the other 9,250 is coming from. That definitely said 10,000 before. So I don't know where that's gone. There's loads of players that I'm bringing in on trial. Darren Prattley I'm bringing in. And if he has a good star rating, I'll be tempted to bring him in as an experienced player as well. 33. He's had a pretty decent career. So he's worth having around just in case. Schedule. I'll show you that really quickly. So last episode... must have been the Southampton game. Have we played since then on camera? I'm not sure. We had a couple of defeats. So 3-0 against Accrington. 5-2 against Notts County. That was a really disappointing game. Because I think... oh no. I was about to say I think we were winning. But we weren't. We were behind all the time. Coming back into it. The Accrington game was a real sucker punch. I mean, that one hurt. I don't like losing to Accrington at the best of times, but that one really hurt. 2-2 draw here against Swindon. Was this the one where we took the lead? Yeah, we took the lead, then we went 2-1 down. We managed to come back into it. But yeah, there's been some dud performances in here. Overall, though, pretty good. 6-3 against Newport is a particular favourite of mine because we were down to 10 men. Godden scored 4 in that game. The 4-1 against Yeovil was pretty sweet as well. Samuel with a hat-trick despite having a fractured cheekbone. 2 of the goals were headers, if I remember rightly as well. So, pretty happy there. Godden, check his scoring stats very quickly. So this season he's played 35 league games and he's scored 35 goals. Last season he scored 27 in 37. Season before that, which was his first season with us, yeah, he scored 20 in 38. So 144 goals in 266 appearances, and half of them, let's do a quick summation. So that's 62, 82. Over half of them have been scored in the Football League. And that's just for us, actually. Over half of his goals have been scored for us. I think he also played... let's see. Did he score any other goals in the Football League? No. He actually hasn't. No. All Vanarama, National or South. Alright, well there you go. So we're champions. We've got some games to play still. I'm going to experiment with the squad. We got... I was about to say 3 games, that's not right. We've got 7 games left to play. There's right, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7 games left to play. So I'm going to experiment in each game. And see what interesting formations and tactics I can come up with. I would say rest Godden between now and the end of the season, but actually I kind of want him firing going into next season. Otherwise I'd say rest Godden and play Hancock up front. Or maybe give Nicotia some run in the squad, something like that, but I don't know. We'll see. Next episode will probably be either the end of this season or the beginning of next. We're still at that point now. We're 2 promotions still from the Premier League, so there's no point in me showing every other game or anything like that at this stage. Once we get down to the business end of the career, once we're in the Championship, then maybe I'll do more regular episodes. But right now, just keep things ticking over the way they are. I don't see why that's not a bad decision. So I think that's pretty much it for this episode, and also for this season. And so I think next season will be when we come back. I'll show you how pre-season's gone. I'll show you who I've signed, who I've sold, any changes to tactics or anything like that. I'll do a big episode with all that, and then we'll probably play the first game of the season in that episode as well. So until then, guys, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and of course if you're enjoying the series. Also, give a big thumbs up if you like the fact that I managed to get promoted. Lost in the playoffs quite heavily last season. 6-1 was it against Barnet, 7-1 in the playoff final. This season we've won the league by at least 23 points. So bit of a turnaround. Same squad pretty much as well. Very few differences. So that's quite a big deal for me. So give a big thumbs up if you enjoyed that as well. Apart from that, drop some comments down below with ideas for tactics, signings, staff additions, all that kind of thing. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. There's plenty more Football Manager content coming up in the very near future. If you have already subscribed to the channel, thank you guys for your continued support. And until next time, and until next season, I will see you soon.